listening to the Power of Inspiration and Awakening Radio with Julia Griffin. To master a higher frequency for a new state of mind. Once you walked in a forest of splendor in which everything you did and everything you thought was aligned. It is possible at this time to begin to return to the old knowledge. Intuitive healer and manifestor Julia Griffin is here to talk about this unique time in history when all sentient beings, animals, plants, trees, and the earth are intent on creating this change. The wolves awakened her to the most incredible light, which opened gifts and brought knowledge that she longs to share. You are creators, and you are born to be creators of beauty, possibility, and joy. Join Julia on a journey into a beautiful and magical world where amazing possibilities exist. Let us help open the door. The Power of Inspiration and Awakening with Julia Griffin starts right now.
Hello, everyone. I'm Julia Griffin, and you're listening to the Power of Inspiration and Awakening on Transformation Talk Radio. Stay with us for the next hour and let us help you experience a higher vibration and a new state of mind, which are very useful because your reality changes when you get there. For those of you who are not familiar with me, I awakened with wolves. I met a wolf, and it talked to me just as people talk, and they taught me to read the energy of the heart. I can intuitively hear plants, animals, and people. I became an intuitive healer and writer as a result, and you can find me at onetrueself.com. Now, we have a wonderful guest today, and we're going to talk about music and sound and how you can use that to uplift your vibration. Kathleen Nagy is here to tell us about music and sound that uplift body and soul. So let me tell you about her. For the past 20 years, she's been a bioacoustic research associate. She specializes in voice energy analysis and acoustic biofeedback for sports or muscle injuries. That's interesting. She was a member of the board of directors for Sound Health International of Ohio and has worked closely with Sherry Edwards, founder of Human Acoustics. There. After a lifetime of being surrounded by beautiful music and healing sounds, she's created the Chakras Sound Spa experience. This product teaches the listener to find the notes that vibrate with their chakras. Vibrating the chakras with the voice or chimes meditation MP3s, you can experience the unique sensation of tingling energy in your chakra energy systems, while your emotions are calmed and balanced. Listening to the beautiful chimes on the MP3 helps you find the key to your body's emotions. It relieves anxiety, insomnia, and depression. Kathleen has had several decades of professional experience as a classically trained musician. She majored in music education and applied music on the French horn at Ithaca College and did her graduate work at Yale University. She's taught music in both public and private schools from elementary school through adult education. She has recorded a French horn solo CD called Prayer Songs. So welcome, Kathleen.
It's really nice to be here. Thank you, Julia.
It's great to have you. One of the things that I wanted to ask you about is, right now I think we can certainly say that everything is a bit chaotic. And you throw the holidays in and travel, and it's a little bit like this. There's too much to do. How can music and sound help us with that?
Well, like we talked about a little bit before the show starts, you have to change your consciousness. You have to rise above it. Einstein, right, said you can't fix a problem with the same mindset or consciousness that created the problem. You can't think your way out of a problem that you thought your way into.
Right.
Right?
The thinking doesn't do it. The consciousness does, is what you're saying.
Yeah, and the consciousness of the heart, the knowings of the heart, connecting with your higher self, which is just unconditional love, right? And getting to that 30,000 foot perspective,
right?
Instead of,
when you're like this, you think it matters so much.
Right. But there's a way to rise above that, and then all of a sudden, you get the big picture, and it's not nearly as bad as you thought it was.
No, or you find a solution. I went through that earlier. I'm halfway through my cranberry relish and it's time to add the orange juice. And I realized someone had drunk it. And I thought, oh no, it's the day before Thanksgiving. I'll have to go back to the store. And then I thought, I'm sure I'll live through that.
Exactly.
It's not really that bad. And at least I'm halfway through. I mean, that's the change in consciousness. But I was just like digging through the refrigerator going, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And then I started laughing because it's not going to be that bad to go to the store. I've got two things to get. I bet I can just go right through the self-check lane.
There you go. Yeah, but because everything is moving so fast around us, and there's so many, pressures on us. Not only are we like hyper focused mentally, because we don't want to forget anything, emotionally, we're connected to all of the fears around, the shoulds and the shouldn'ts of the situation,
Right.
uh, and rhythmically, we're out of rhythm with ourself and with nature. We need to slow down, right? Take that deep, slow breath. Deep, slow, gentle breath. What I have a little kind of mantra set of directions that I would say to myself when things get, really wild. And I tell myself to just take a deep, slow breath and to go soft, right?
I did
Just
that earlier today. I went for a walk with my cat and he was lying next to the catnip. And as soon as he did it, all the birds started to sing and the trees started to move. And I thought, wow, look how connected he is compared to me.
well, there's a great little teacher there you've got.
Yeah. And so then after that, I said, I want to be connected like that. And I could feel like all the earth currents come through me.
Wonderful. You just had to speak it, right?
So tell us how the sound works with it because I'm not always able to do that. Sometimes when I get upset, I keep going like that.
Well, one of the first things after the deep, slow breath that I tell myself, go soft, is relax my head. And that just starts a whole process of your brain's going, what?
Mhm.
And then relax your lower abdomen. Then release all thought. Now that's the hard one. Release all thought. No judgment, right? There, I have a mind emancipation. Um, let's see, where did I put it? A mind emancipation little mantra
Mhm.
that it goes like, um, I release my mind from the responsibility of trying to figure out anything for me.
Oh, that's wonderful.
I release my mind from the responsibility of thinking that it has to do things. And then you open to the wisdom of the heart. And you let the wisdom of the heart and all of its knowings and all of its way of bringing its knowings into information. It goes from a thought into form inside of us. And we have knowings from here, which are so much more profound than what we could ever think of.
Hmm. That's the one bad thing about school. If you're smart, they teach you to think all the time and to stay on edge for tests and things. And I guess it's great to get through school, but it's not so great in real life.
Well, we don't know how to turn it off. We're just always in fight or flight.
Hmm.
There's just so much happening in our adrenal systems that are just always pumping. And got to learn how to, just take the adrenaline down.
Right.
Uh, and there are sounds that you can do that. I have a piece of music I wrote called The Emotional Stabilizer. Um, and it's really, it's a 12-minute solo piano piece. It's very simple. But it's also, my piano is tuned to the frequency of A equal to 432 hertz, right? Which is not the typical A 440 hertz that the orchestra is tuned to. It's a little bit lower than that, but it's been proven to lower heart rate and blood pressure. So music in that key is already, your brain is being able to sync with it much better. It navigates basically through all the notes of the musical scale, both ascending and descending order. And each notes of the scale is paired with its emotional support note. And it goes up very slowly, covering everybody's possible scales, and then it comes down very slowly. And by the time you finish, you're just in this state of calm and peace. And it takes about 12 minutes. Sometimes if you're in a really bad state, you got to listen to it twice.
Right. That sounds like me in the afternoon.
But spiritually, listeners can expect enhanced emotional equilibrium, emotional regulation, and a deeper connection to your inner self. Physically, the benefits include reduced stress levels, improved cardiovascular health, and contributing to just this overall sense of well-being. There was a Crystal Hughes. I don't know if you know who Crystal Hughes is. She's a multisensory intuitive creator of the Academy for the Soul. And she listened to this and gave me this fabulous testimonial. She says, as someone in the energy field with a high level of sensory acuity, I've experienced countless tools and techniques designed to balance and heal the chakras and aura, but the emotional stabilizer, MP3, stands out as profoundly supportive and transformative. From the first note, I felt a deep resonance that gently moved through my entire being, activating each chakra with precision and care. The unique vibrations of the piano tuned to A43 432 hertz facilitated both physical and dimensional shifts that I could feel rippling through my aura. This MP3 doesn't just balance the chakras, she says, it harmonizes the emotional layers within the auric field, creating a sense of peace and alignment that is truly extraordinary. I felt significant increase in my intuitive capacity, and my central channel opened and all over sense of groundedness and clarity. She said, this is a must-have for anyone seeking to elevate their spiritual practice. The emotional stabilizer is a gift to the soul, and she wholeheartedly recommends it to anyone looking for an experience of profound healing and transformation. So
That's
that was,
wonderful.
yeah. And I
So
couldn't,
432 would put you back in your heart if it's balancing all your chakras and it's healing the cardiovascular system, right?
yes, yes, yeah. It's kind of the scale of nature.
Hmm.
It's the scale that nature is tuned to, and so it's the scale that our bodies are tuned to, both physical and etheric. We're just not aware of it. And A 440 hertz, the difference is so small, the ear really can't pick it up consciously, but the brain does.
Right. Because we're all really sensitive to things, whether we believe we are or not.
Exactly.
Yeah. And when you're in your heart, everything sort of starts to straighten out.
Right. Um, Another thing that people say about it, they can't believe how long it lasts, the feeling lasts after you listen to it. It sometimes as much as 24 hours.
That's a long time.
Yeah. So I would recommend, I mean, you can get it from my website. It's thesoundlady.com. Uh,
I
and
just
we,
bought one yesterday, but I haven't had a chance to really listen
is
yet.
that
But I will.
you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was me.
Okay. Um, and then another thing you can do for yourself, I write little mantra songs for myself. And because I've also written a book called Humming for Health. And I'm all about humming to yourself because when you hum, your vibrations stay inside of your body, right?
That's why children do it all the time.
Yes, and I see parents saying, "Stop that!" And I just
Hmm.
no, let him out. So I will write, and I've done sessions with other people and help them write their little mantra songs too. And I have them. We come up with a what's the statement that we're going to make, and then I help them put a little melody to it, and then I create a piano accompaniment and I have them sing it, and then I email it to them with their voice talking to themselves,
Right.
telling them that little affirmation, and it's pretty powerful. Well, the one that I use here is to open my heart. We're going to talk about the little MP3 I just sent called "How Wide Can I Open My Heart?" And I simply sit down at the piano and I play through this. It's a very simple piece. All of my stuff is simple. I was trained in incredibly intricate orchestral music, and I've pared it down to the simplest components possible, so I don't have to think while I'm doing them because I want to
Right.
feel, right? So this little MP3, how wide can I open my heart, is just a little mantra that I sing over and over to myself. And this, after I'm playing through it on the piano, when I feel the tears rolling down my cheeks, I know the heart is open. When the heart
Right.
opens, the water flows, right? And they're not tears, that's happy juice.
Yeah, I know. That's why we cry with kids' movies with happy endings, or I
Right,
do anyway.
right, right. So
Yeah.
I wonder, it's a little over a minute long. I wonder, could we listen to it now?
Yeah, that would be fabulous.
How wide can I open? How wide can I open? How wide can I open my heart? How wide can I open? How wide can I open? How wide can I open my heart? How wide can I open? How wide can I open? How wide can I open my heart?
That's so interesting. Every time you would say wide, I could feel myself expand in that direction. And the image that came to me is in The Wizard of Oz when Dorothy goes home. How happy she was with everything that she didn't like before.
Well, the music, the intervals, how wide, it get wider and wider.
Hmm.
It just, it pulls you out.
Yeah, it does. I could feel it. I was almost crying thinking about when Dorothy first went home and she was so happy.
I have a little water in my eyeballs right now too. It's just, it allows the heart to open. It gives it permission. You're focusing on that and nothing else. Even if you can't sing it, you can say it to yourself, challenge yourself. It's a very challenging thing to ask yourself, how wide can I open my heart?
And it
That's
keep,
scary. That's dangerous. Oh my God. I don't want to do that. Right. But that's what we need.
but it also made me feel happy like I did when I was 5 or 6 and I watched The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah. And everyone will have their different, reaction to it. Uh,
Hmm.
whatever's, meaningful to them, and how, when your heart opens wide, how do you feel and what do you think? Yeah.
Yeah, she had so many magical adventures, but she ended up being really happy with what was simple.
There's no place like home.
Yeah, because truth is often simple. It can be most complex to get there, but truth is simple.
Right. And I say, release all thought. It's a very simple statement.
Yeah.
It's not easy to do.
No, that's the hardest thing I think is to stop the inner dialogue.
Yeah. Um, let's see, what else could we do? So being
Well,
aware.
how did you come across all of this? Is this experimenting with yourself or lessons or just everything all together?
Well, it's a lifetime of being an orchestral musician. I was exposed to all the masters. I've played for Fiedler. I played in Carnegie Hall twice. I've played with really great orchestras, and I understand how to use music to you know raise the emotions and lower the emotions. I mean, all of Western music is about starting at home, some harmony, moving away from home, tension, moving out of the harmony, and then we in Western music always like to come back home at the end of the song. Indian music just keeps going. They don't
Right.
have to come back home.
Right. The old Greek premise of a story going around in a circle or a play going around in a circle, the same thing.
Right. And,
Yeah.
and and the stress is alleviated when you come back to harmony, the original harmony.
Yeah.
Dissonance, harmony, dissonance, safety, danger.
Well,
um,
we kind of seem to need both. I'm just observing there
yeah, yeah. And so, I mean, I've been playing with sound
your
for many,
entire life.
many, many, many years. Yes, since I was a wee little thing. Um, I
So long
remember,
enough that the universe comes in and explains a lot of it to you.
yes, but you got to listen. I became a very good listener. Uh, so also humming softly to yourself is another way to just take the adrenaline down slowly and softly. Mm,
I do that sometimes when I cook. It does help.
does. You know what else? A sigh. If you sigh from the highest sound you can make down to the lowest sound that you can make, and you feel the energy of your voice moving through your body as your energy goes down. Ah. Now your focus is grounded, is centered. Do that
Right.
3 times. Ah. And you can feel it moving down your body. And it brings your attention down to the base of your spine, which you can then connect to Mother Earth. And you can use that tube inside of you with all of your energy going down. You can release and get to the heart of Mother Earth, which is a recycling plant, and it can
Right.
transform that energy. And then you breathe it back up into your heart. You're
I
all
think
set.
that's what I liked learning with wolves the most is that they could get me up to a really high level of being psychic, but they were so grounded because they have to be to live, obviously, that it's like I would go there, but then I would come back and everything in nature was like twice as beautiful. Like if a tree moved, I felt it because they felt it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's magnificent. What a great way to explain it. I had a similar experience with a horse. My friend who had horses, her horse had gone into a hole and kind of bent his ankle, and he was in a lot of pain. He said, "Can you come over and do something?" So I came over and I just stood next to the horse and he let me into his field.
Right.
The big heart, an enormous heart, right?
Yes.
And uh, and I just listened to him and I heard the sound that his body wanted. And I started humming it. And it was the lowest note I could sing. And I was just
Oh, how interesting.
very softly humming it to him. And the owner was going, "Yeah, keep it up, keep it up." He's, when horses like something, they're, you know,
And their ears come forward. Yeah.
yeah. And she said, "I can see he's putting more weight on that foot now, keep it up, keep it up." So I just did it for about 5 minutes. And then the most amazing thing happened. I walked out of his field, and then the horse tried to make the
You were.
same sound that I was making. Now he couldn't sustain it, but he was
Mhm.
he had the pitch. He kept trying, and he was like, "Ugh, I can't sustain it." But I'd never seen a horse try to imitate a sound a human was making.
I haven't either, and I've been around horses for a lot of my life.
But it was the sound he needed, and he knew it, and he wanted to keep it going, and he tried
Hmm.
to do it himself. So that I just hummed that. I put it on an audio tape, and I gave it to the owner, and she played it for him in his stable, and he got better.
Oh, that's so wonderful. So there's all kinds of healing and ways to relax and ways to change our reality just through sound.
Absolutely.
I was thinking of contrasting that because there's been a lot of construction around here. Sometimes I'll step outside and there'll be a chainsaw or machinery. I'm just like, oh no, I've got to go back in.
Yeah. The best way to handle a lot of noise, if you can't get away from it,
Hmm.
is to not resist it, to let it go through you.
Oh, good to know.
Stop,
Hmm.
let it go through you, and you can ignore it. You can just like it's kind of like Your brain will ignore certain sounds that it hears all the time, but it knows it's not important, like your refrigerator motor,
Right.
right?
Or your
And
phone making some sound that's not a person.
yeah, your brain goes, should I pay attention to that? And, if you're lucky, your brain goes, no, I don't need to pay attention to that. So you can click into that state of mind. I don't need to pay attention to the loudness of that sound.
Hmm.
It's not important. So try that.
Oh,
Just
well,
the less resistance, the more it's going to be able to go through you.
I know I knew someone who was really good with horses, and I think that this was from Africa, but they would make noises like this. Yeah, my dog is looking at me like he's really interested. But they would just make all these clicking noises, and even like the very worst, most upset horse would respond to those clicks.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I didn't know if you had any kind of insight in that or not. I always
Well,
thought
I
that.
wonder if the clicks are sound like a lick. Maybe,
Maybe,
which is a horse's way of saying that that's good.
mm-hmm. Because they would just calm down instantly. It went from, this is a terrible horse that could hurt people, to the horse is following him around wherever he goes. But they wouldn't stop doing it. They would slow down the interval as the animal got better, but they would never stop it. Yeah,
Interesting.
just something interesting. But I think there's probably a whole lot about sound that we're going to discover, because what is it? Light and sound are the two strongest vibrations on our planet.
The interesting thing about sound too is it comes in. I call it the back door. Uh, it it's not logical. It doesn't come in the prefrontal cortex,
Right.
right? It comes in the reptilian brain. Back here, low on the top of your neck, your brain stem there, and that part of your brain is responsible for things like heartbeat and body temperature, all these survival and instinctual reactions for survival,
Hmm.
right? Um, and if that part of your brain hears music that's going to help, it's going to come in and it's going to just
Your body just absorbs it.
right, right, and it just stops all of this. Also about humming,
Mhm.
know that you can't think while you're humming.
No.
You can't think while you're humming creates a space between your thoughts and your
Mhm.
heart. And
Interesting.
if you're just try humming, just take a deep breath and just hum a long note, and take another deep breath, hum a long note. And if you try to like figure out a problem while you're doing that, you can't. Your brain just can't do it. So it creates a disconnect.
That's so fun. Well, we're going to have to go to break now. Um, Kathleen Nagy is my guest today. We're talking about sound, and we'll go to break and we'll come back and learn more. She's telling us fascinating things, so stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back. I'm Julia Griffin, and you're listening to The Power of Inspiration and Awakening on Transformation Talk Radio. I'm talking with Kathleen Nagy about sound and how sound brings healing and all the different things that we can do with sound. She's telling us about frequencies in sound that raise our vibration and our consciousness. She is a creator of sounds for healing, so it's really fascinating things. We're going to talk about mantras and the brain and other things that everyone needs to know in the next half hour, so stay tuned. So, Kathleen, I was going to ask you about chanting.
Yeah, chanting is a very powerful way of sort of re-entraining your brain and your heart. Um, and I used to think that because I didn't know what the words were that I was chanting, because it's in a Vedic language or some ancient,
Right.
language, I realized it didn't really matter because the sound of those words, the sounds of those vowels and consonants, and that pattern of sounds has been chanted for thousands of years, and it's like in the collective unconscious. It
Right.
and you can and by chanting you tap into the power of all those thousands of years of the emotional experience you're having, uh, because it's the response that everyone else has had for thousands of years, and you
Right.
can
And it's obviously worked for people. So,
right, and that's how a mantra or a chant works. I discovered this myself, and a lot of my music is all from like personal experience. But I was in a relationship that I was really kind of obsessing over, and I knew that it wasn't healthy, and I knew that it was an impossible situation, and I couldn't stop obsessing about it. So I wrote myself a little mantra song called "Let It Go," and in the process of writing it and recording it, and I was singing it, a lot, and I would then listen to the recording for a number of times a day for a number of days in a row. And what I noticed was when the thought of that other person came into my head, it got washed away by the Let It Go song. It just took it out. All I could hear was Let It Go. I couldn't hear the obsession anymore.
so frequencies like that replace the frequencies that we've taught ourselves to have, or life has taught us to have.
Very good. Yes. And the brain, I mean, we have the law of attraction, so you can kind of talk yourself out of it for a little bit. But
Yeah,
by
but
the
it
law
doesn't
of
last
attraction,
long.
your body's going to bring back into it what it was used to having there in the first place.
Right.
But if you replace it with something of a higher frequency, the brain is going to like that so much more. And the old frequency is going to dissolve and kind of mutate into that higher frequency and kind of move into the light.
Right.
And it doesn't come back.
That is such a profound thing to say, I think, because people struggle with their patterns and people struggle with letting them go. But the thing is even if it's just temporary, if you meditate for an hour or go to a meditation class, you're beyond all those things, usually at least until the next day.
Yeah,
If you keep doing the work, they go away more.
that's it. You got to do the work. You got to listen to the
Yeah, I mean,
mantra.
all spiritual work takes a whole lot of practice.
Yeah. And people who get to the point where they can raise their consciousness, it's because they've done the work. It's not, I mean, sometimes you're lucky and you run into a wolf and you hear him talk,
Right.
but you put yourself in the situation in a state of awareness, that you could receive that. And
Well, I
that
had I had meditated for a very long time, and for a year I had asked to awaken every single day, like probably 100, 200 times a day.
and
So
it still took a year, right?
yeah.
I mean, it doesn't come quickly, and most people give up, unfortunately.
No, and there's still what people don't know, and you don't know till you experience it, is you might wake up, but there are a lot more levels to go.
Right, right.
And that's why things like mantras and things like that help. I was thinking about when I was in my early 20s, I had the golden flower meditation, which I believe was based on China. And it was like I did it every day. And then after about a year, I suddenly saw how I wasn't doing it correctly. And it corrected itself. And I think maybe that's true with mantras too, like the Vedic ones.
Sure, the ancient ones that have been around.
You know, if you
That,
stick with it, they just correct themselves or someone corrects you. It's one of the two.
mhm. And either way, it gets corrected. So
Well, maybe it's the universe just coming through something that's available. That was my thought about it. You know, I could think, oh, I've gotten to such a high evolution, it corrected itself. And I thought, no, that can't be it. It's
well,
nice to believe it, but it's not true.
I've realized over the years too, I'm not doing anything, right? I am the instrument through which space is created for attunement to be delivered,
Right.
right? If I start thinking I'm doing it, it doesn't work.
No, it doesn't work at all. The very best it gets is the universe comes through you. But the thing is that it can come through us in so many beautiful and interesting and different ways. That's part of the beauty of it.
When you're least expecting it.
Hmm. And then other people surprise you with their beauty and their insights. And I think if there is a future, and I know there will be, that's one of the things we need to focus on is how wonderful it is that we're all so different and express that God force or universal energy in that way.
And we're all connected. And that what is it? uh, resonance. A butterfly can flap its wings on one side of the planet. It can
Hmm.
have an effect on the other side of the planet. Uh, that we're all connected. We're all swimming in the same soup, and we've got chunks of harmony, we've got chunks of dissonance, and we're just trying to merge them together because we're moving into a number one year, 2026,
Right.
and all of this chaos that's going on is like all of the evil is being exposed so it can be changed.
Exactly.
And now is chaos, but we're taking, we have divine mother on our left side and divine father on our right side, and we're thinking 11. We've been in this November month. 11 is up in this vertical energy that's coming down from the heavens, and that is merging into oneness.
Hmm.
um,
And that
that's
was one reason I was interested in having you hear about sound, because sound travels a long way. Like I lived high up in the mountains and I could hear people like a half a mile away, like what they were saying on the phone. Like
Yeah,
there
well,
was no space.
for example, well, water is a great conductor of sound too,
Mm.
so that a whale can sing off the coast of Brazil underwater and can be heard off the coast of Africa, all the
Wow.
way across the ocean. So they can send messages to each other through water for thousands of miles.
So this is one reason that people might want to get more interested in music or listen to some of the things that you've created or create with you, is because sound travels really far.
And the language of our brain is frequency. The
Right.
brain speaks sound. The brain, if you've got a banana in your hand, your eyes are sending the picture of banana to your brain. The brain hears the frequency of the banana, even though we can't hear it, and the brain knows banana incoming. I mean, everything is frequency to the brain, and sound is frequency. So the simplest way I can explain it, Julia, is I say to people, well, matter vibrates.
It does. Yeah.
Nobody will argue with me. Yeah, okay. I said, okay. Sound is vibration. Well, duh. Yeah, sound is vibration. So sound therefore affects matter. You just have to have the right sound for the right piece of matter. And that's where someone like me comes in. I can help you find that sound.
The right vibration to alter the matter in your field.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I was going to say, when you're talking about that translation with the banana, my grandfather, he was very happily blind. He always said it's the best thing that ever happened to him because it gave him such a tremendous focus. But here's the interesting thing. He said he hated going to school for the blind. He went to a very expensive one because he said no one sleeps. That when you no longer have visual images, you only need like 4 hours of sleep every night. And I was thinking it's the translation that you're talking about.
Hmm. Well, I know the pineal gland, which is your third eye chakra, controls the body's circadian rhythms, right?
Right.
The sun rises, pineal gland senses the light, and it says, wake up. And the sun goes down and there's less light, and the pineal gland goes, oh, time to go to sleep. Make some melatonin. When I have a hard time sleeping at night, if I'm up at 3 in the morning and I can't get back to sleep, I play the note of my pineal gland
Right.
for about 10 minutes. I'm telling the pineal gland, make melatonin. And in
Hmm.
about 20 minutes, I'm sound asleep.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So if you know, if you do a session with me and learn what your body's musical scale is, I mean, every one of our bodies has its own musical scale. And
Well, that's a lot cheaper than all the supplements I take to sleep.
it, yes, and it's a lot less harmful to you afterwards, right?
Hmm.
You're just telling your brain, I need some more melatonin. And it takes about 20 minutes for it all to, assimilate.
To cook, yeah.
Yeah, but then you go right back to sleep.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I
So
mean, I guess that's why they didn't sleep, but he said nobody sleeps more than 4 or 5 hours a night after they've been blinded.
well, I'm sure it had something to do with it, but the body adjusted, right? It said, okay,
Hmm.
four hours is enough.
Yeah.
And who knows, maybe 4 hours is enough for the rest of us too. But maybe because we're taking in so much visual input, our brain needs to sleep longer to process it all.
Well, that's what he thought.
Yeah, because he's not taking in all of that visual input all the time.
Yeah, because so he said without the stimulation, because he had been sighted before, he said it honed his visualization process.
Wow, no kidding.
Hmm. I mean, he could hear so well. I could be 3 rooms away and decide I was going to tiptoe up, and he wouldn't hear me. He would be asleep. And 3 rooms away, he would say, "I hear you. Start over."
Again.
I gave up on that after a few years. So, yeah. So those are some huge things that I don't think we consider. I mean, I'm sure you don't, and I don't. We're not sitting there watching television at night, but think if you did for 3 or 4 hours, just the visual stimulation and the sound stimulation you would have.
And the colors.
Yeah.
The colors, all of that blue, electric blue color. That's not good for sleeping.
I know once when I hadn't watched television at all for 4 or 5 years, someone turned it on and I was like, the colors are so bright. Everything is like a primary color. I need to put on sunglasses.
Yeah, it's gotten a lot brighter with age.
Yeah.
You can put a lot more light in each pixel.
So for all of our quiet group, they can start working on sounds and their personal visualization. So all sound comes through the back of your brain?
Yeah, it's the most like primitive sense. It's your sense of sound that kept you alive. If you hurt, you could hear danger coming before you could see it, before you could smell it, before you could touch it.
Right. And so I would imagine a lot of the time when we think we're having an intuition, we may actually be hearing something that we're not even aware of.
That's entirely possible.
Yeah.
We are run probably 90% of the time by these unconscious thought patterns that cause us to react certain ways and say certain things and do certain things just on automatic pilot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're sleeping a lot of the time. Let's get real. And I'm including myself in it. So I'm not saying I don't do it. I'm saying I'm aware that I do it.
That's it. That's 50% of the battle, right? Being aware that you're on automatic pilot and
Mm-hmm.
it's the brain is running everything. You know.
Yeah, because I was streaming something last night and I thought, why are you doing this? You don't like to stream. And I thought, because it's an hour to bedtime, what am I going to do? And I thought, well, anything would be better than this.
Right. But you caught yourself.
Yeah.
That takes a good deal of self-awareness, which you get from years and years of meditating and being still and listening to yourself, listening to the mind chatter, listening to what crazy things that are being said up there.
Who knows who I was picking up on that was having that thought? I probably just heard their thought and did it.
That could be true too, because you're a sensitive.
Yeah, because I'm like, why am I streaming at 10 o'clock at night? This is crazy. I don't want to stay up watching this stuff.
Well, someone else wanted to watch it. So
yeah, I just went along with the vibration. So I think that's another thing you're telling us about music is that it gets us out of those automatic things if we can have enough awareness to bring in things that make us more conscious.
Right. Yes, it can take you right out of that.
Yeah.
Thinking.
I will say one of the good things right now is that I guess it's from 2020, but people aren't going to movies and people aren't streaming as much.
But youngsters are.
I know youngsters are doing it more and more. And those horrible video games and the noises they make, I cannot bear that. I just cringe whenever I hear it.
They were going to play that in my presence. Turn the sound off. I don't want to hear.
I know. What does that sound do to your brain?
It numbs it.
Oh.
Right? It just numbs it.
I know I was babysitting once and they wouldn't stop playing games. And I said, well, I'm going to cry because I cannot bear the noise coming from that game and the movement on the game. So they turned it off.
Good for you. I always have earplugs with me.
I think that's a good idea.
Just have to put in some earplugs because the volume
is
too loud.
It does make me wonder when we're talking about this. Let's just say I was around someone who really liked to do video games. If I started playing more of this music, they might change their mind.
No, they don't hear it.
Oh, they don't hear it.
No, it's a kind of it's a stimulation,
Uh-huh.
and it keeps them playing the game.
Oh, I see.
It helps them get addicted to the game.
Right. So it's a dopamine response.
Yes, very good.
Yeah. Well,
And the
there are
people
lots
who
of
write the
smart
music,
people.
the people who write the music know that it will do that, and that's what they
Right.
like.
They have marketing geniuses, I'm sure. All right. That's something I'm subtracting from my visualized future. No more of those noises. But usually when I first hear them, I'm like, what is that noise? I've got to go find it and turn it off. Yeah.
Because it's
So,
out of rhythm with your natural rhythm.
yeah, it's off my natural. I start to feel really upset after a while. Like, eh. But but a lot of us, the ones of us who are more conscious, if we start doing all this and we become more aware of it, it may change the world around us.
Yes, yes. Uh, the stronger we hold that vibration, we're holding a higher vibration.
Hmm.
And everyone on the planet wants to be in a higher vibration. It's natural for humans to want to ascend. It's
Right.
natural for humans to want to, become enlightened. It's our path. It's why we're here. So if we're able to hold that frequency, um, uh, eventually sucks other people in, and everyone says, "Oh, I like this so much better. Let's stay here."
Right. 'Cause it feels so much better.
Yeah.
And that is my worldview. Someone asked me what's going to happen next year. I'm like, it's more of the same, but there's also more energy for people who want to awaken to wake up. And if enough of us do that, then that energy starts to be transmitted to many, many, many more people.
Yes. Yes. There's a word for it. I can't think. It has something to do with 10th monkey. There's a there's an old story about you get to the anyway. Never mind.
Well, you can tell me if you
No,
want
I,
to.
I I can't remember the whole thing. I
Oh,
just
okay. Well, then let's don't talk about
yeah.
that. No, I'm thinking, I want to say it was in the 80s or the early 90s, but there were 100 people who went to Washington, D.C., and I think they meditated 8 hours a day. For the next 30 days, the crime in D.C. was cut by 50%.
Wow.
And the person who wrote about it said, we were just a few people for a few days. Think what would happen if all of us meditated for an hour every day
Right. At the same time.
at the same time. Yeah.
There's a story that Dr. Emoto writes in his book on water, secrets, secrets of water. But he is a, Japanese doctor and photographer, and he discovered that water has consciousness.
Right.
Right? He would take a glass and pour some water into it and put a piece of paper around it that says "I love you." You take another glass of water and fill it with the same time of water and put a piece of paper around it that says "I hate you." And he would freeze the water and he would take pictures of the crystals.
Hmm.
And the "I hate you" water, the crystals were all deformed and gray, and the "I love you" water was bright, crystally, beautiful geometric shapes. Um, he took a group of people. There was this one pond where he lived that every springtime got filled with algae and it just smelled, and the whole town had this awful smell. Well, he had a big group of people circle the pond, and they all chanted this chant for a while, and the algae went away, and it never came back, and the smell was never there again. Changed the frequency of the consciousness of the water.
I believe you because I dream of whales talking to me in my sleep and talking about how their vibrations are changing the rock and the bottom of the ocean.
Oh, really? Tell us more.
Well, in a dream, I can always understand what they're saying in depth. Like I suddenly understand how different harmonies and different substances like rock or sand or fish respond to the sounds that they're making. But when the whale makes a noise, it's like it comes over me like a flood. It's like it penetrates every cell in my body. And then I can feel that other whales are doing it and they're doing it all over the planet. So I'm like, well, they believe in us and higher consciousness. They believe in sound. And they're too smart not to do it if they don't think it's going to work.
They've been on the planet a lot longer than human beings have.
Well, I just mean they wouldn't waste their time. They'd go find some place that was clean and hang out there. They wouldn't be working on murky parts of the ocean
Right, right. Meaning,
or try to pull in a human being to listen to them. They're probably thinking something like, she's got to tell everybody because it's really important. It's just sound, and look what we're doing. Of course, they're immense. So,
yes, and they know what sounds to sing, and then they balance a dissonant
right.
sound.
Yeah. I mean, they're beautiful sounds, but it's like when it hits your body, you're like, wow. And they can send sound so far. But maybe we'll be able to do that soon
Maybe.
if more of us work on it and you keep sharing these cool things that you have. So, what's your website so people can find you?
My website is thesoundlady.com. And you can find the emotional stabilizer there on the shop tab. It's only $27. It's 12 minutes long. And if you put it on your little MP3, I know people who take it on planes with them because they get PTSD on planes. It stops PTSD. It stops anxiety. It just, all of the chakras are connected to glands of our endocrine system that are turning things on and off all the time. And it just balances all of those chakras. And you just go into this centered calm where you could walk through chaos and you really don't care.
That's wonderful. I think all of us are going to need that sometimes. So thank you so much, Kathleen, for being with us. And for everyone listening, you can find me at trueself.com. And you can sign up for my newsletter. I often talk about the different moons. I talk about awakening and just what's going on with me and maybe with you at the same time. So sign up if you want, and I'll be back in a couple weeks. Namaste.
Thank you for listening to the Power of Inspiration and Awakening Radio with Julia Griffin to master a higher frequency for a new state of mind. Join us next time as Julia takes us deeper into the memory of the moments of light where transcendence and enlightenment emerge. The memory of the jewel of consciousness is always lived within you to tap into waves of energy and create huge changes by imagining the beauty of the vision and desires that are hidden in the heart. Learn to find your way back to nature, beauty, and your own heart, which holds the secrets of your existence and future. To discover more about Julia's adventures, animal communication, and the teachings she brings to every show, visit onetrueself.com. That's onetrueself.com. That's ONE, trueself.com.